In this inspiring speech by Speaker Salon alum Tonya Harris, you will learn that when you stop allowing other people's limiting beliefs to hold you back, you can finally become the superhero you are meant to be. You will not only learn how to do this, but also how to use charm and humor to create an excellent performance as a public speaker.
Allowing other people to impose their limitations on us prevents us from becoming the superheroes that we're meant to be in the world. We're born believing that anything is possible. We have unlimited imagination, big dreams, and no fear. And then somewhere along the way, other people, whether it's our parents, our teachers, our friends, or even our doctors, begin to share their opinion on what's possible for us, unintentionally planting a seed of doubt in our mind. So we stop dreaming big, we stop believing anything is possible, and we start to hide. And sometimes it takes just one unintentional comment from a stranger that can prevent us from what we're supposed to do in the world. Oh, you survived. I'm a childhood cancer survivor, and those are the three words that brought me to my knees at a fundraiser 14 years ago. That's when my parents and I and my family were at a Light the Night event for the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. And a friend of mine who was also there had just told me that her cousin had lost her 15-year-old daughter to leukemia just a few weeks before, the same cancer I had as a child. And the mother of this child also happened to be at the event. So my friend thought it might be nice to introduce us, that it might create sort of a common bond. But for some reason, I started thinking, I don't know if that's such a good idea. And I clearly remember standing in line with my family. I had my two girls in a stroller and my husband and my son next to me. And we were just waiting for our lighted balloons. And the next thing I knew, there they were. And she had brought her cousin over to introduce us. And when my friend said, Tonya also had leukemia as a child, her cousin looked at me with such sadness and grief and even resentment and said those three words that have haunted me to this day. Oh, you survived. And whether or not that look or those words were meant for me, I took them in. And they broke me into a million pieces inside. And I know that this woman came from such a deep place of pain and grief, and I've never blamed her. And I know it's definitely not how she or my friend would want me to feel. It was unintentional. But I felt the guilt all the same. But recently, I was unable to fully celebrate my life actually after that, and I really began to hide. But what someone said to me recently was, what if you're here not to survive, but also to show everyone that anything is possible? Because that survivor guilt I had was no joke, the things we tell ourselves. But I really love that idea of being put here to show everyone what's possible rather than that hiding. Because when I was younger, I was told I might not be able to have kids. But today I have 3 amazing children, most of the time. And I have an amazing husband. I was also told that during my chemo, I was going to have very soft teeth and a mouthful of cavities. But I didn't get a cavity until I was 30. Yay. And, and then, as the doctors warned my parents, some part of learning would be really difficult for me, especially in math. But totally kidding, because that one happened. You never want to see my math grades. So something had to happen. Whether or not I consciously or subconsciously chose to listen to my doctors, or even about that math thing, I'll never know how I subconsciously did that. But what I do know is that not listening to limitations led me through to motherhood when my daughter was diagnosed with learning disabilities. Her teachers placed their limitations on her, and again, unintentionally, but I was not going to let anyone take her superhero cape. It was important for me to show her an unlimited possibility. And by showing her what is possible, gave her the courage to stand on this exact stage with me back in March. And she's being featured in a new documentary where she's sharing her story to help others. So one of the things I've always wondered is, how come some of us are able to look past our limitations, but some of us aren't? And how did I let 3 words from a stranger define me for the past 14 years? But I'm unwilling to listen to doctors or my daughter's teachers. I recently spoke to an amazing woman named Emma, who, when she was a sophomore in high school, had surgery that left her paralyzed from just below the chest down. And she's living an amazing and independent life. She's well-traveled, and she even studied abroad in college. And then she went back to France later to teach English. And she's had a lot of limitations and assumptions placed on her, but she said she sees some of them as rewarding. She's a second-grade teacher now, and she says her kids get to see that she does the same things they do, she just does it in a wheelchair. And now they're less likely to put limitations on themselves and others throughout their lives. But what really stuck out to me was when Emma said, "Aren't I lucky to be the face of people in wheelchairs?" That is so powerful. She's well-traveled, she's independent, she's well-educated. She's truly showing all of us what's possible. And she has chosen to see the positives. So I think the answer to what makes some of us able to look past our limitations is choice. And I think there's definitely other factors involved, but choice is the one that we have the most control over. We get to choose how we react to circumstances. Because Emma's surgery could have defined her, but she chose not to let it. I chose, subconsciously, to let that woman's words in, even though most likely they were never meant for me. And when I was done hiding and done feeling like that, I chose to let them go. It wasn't easy. It's been 14 years still, and I still have to make that decision to let those words go every day. But once your mission or your passion becomes bigger than your fear, that's when you can put your cape back on and everything changes. Because it's our self-limiting beliefs that are getting in the way of the work we have to do. But it's up to us to step into our greatness. And yes, it is easier to listen to those limitations. It's easier, and it keeps us safe. But it's those ordinary thoughts that are stopping us from leading an extraordinary life. A life that inspires us, which then inspires others to do the same. So what is that limiting belief that you have, or that one thing that's been told to you that you've been holding on to, that's been preventing you from fully showing up in your job, or from leaving that unhealthy relationship, or even one that stopped you from writing that book or performing on stage? Whatever that thing is that you most want to do. The first step is just knowing that you can choose. And when you do that, you can put your superhero cape back on, and your life becomes limitless.
If you have the desire to get on stage and share your powerful story as part of the Speaker Salon, all you have to do is go to speakersalonapplication.com. Let me know what your biggest takeaways were from Tonya's talk, and be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so that you have access to my upcoming videos. Thank you so much for being here, and I will always respond to your comments. Big love.